What's up, everyone? It's me, Adam Prime, and we are back for another TokuBrew podcast. This week in Toku, with me, as always, is my lovely co-host.
Hi, I'm Stormy. It's been a while. Hello.
Obviously, like I said, I still haven't released a bunch of episodes, but we also got super behind because of the Blazing Toku Movie-thon, because
And
that
life
takes
stuff.
priorities. Life has screwed us over. So we are quite a good number of episodes behind, but you guys probably won't notice this, but there is going to be a bridging gap between, and we are splintering it because we are 6 episodes behind on everything.
Goodness.
Well, 6 episodes behind on King Oger, which in this podcast, we're going to be talking about King Oger 15 through 20, which almost feels like its own little arc, if you look at it
yeah,
in a
we
way.
somehow were able, we didn't do it on purpose because we didn't want to get behind it all.
Yeah.
But, we kind of unintentionally captured the build-up and execution of an arc. And one of the best arcs at this point.
So good. And then we're going to have the Geats portion, which will also have another group of 6 episodes and the Hyper Battle video.
I imagine it'll be the next video.
Well, yeah,
Right.
but we're going to have to get all the stuff for it. And we also have Ultraman Blazar. He has joined the fray, and we have not watched any of Blazar yet, so we are 3 episodes behind. But
Hope you guys got to see the premiere.
Yeah,
Hope you enjoyed it.
Exactly. So
we'll catch up.
Yeah, we are going to do Blazar, and we are splintering this. I don't know when they will all release. They will all be labeled episodes. This is 63, 64, and 65. Those will be their numbers because fuck it, just numbers. I don't know.
Why not?
I'm really excited because, again, these episodes of King Oger were super good, but we're also going to be talking about the last of the Secrets of King Reculus.
Oh, such good things ahead, guys.
Yeah, no news or anything. We are just going to go into the discussion of the 6 episodes.
And I guess just a little bit of a heads up, just because this is 6 episodes and there's a lot to talk about, a few things will probably slip through the cracks a little bit. We'll try and be at least as in-depth as possible to what is at the very least
about
relevant.
Our favorite points.
Our favorite points, what is relevant, maybe some good jokes here and there. But again, this is just one of those things where guys, just watch it yourselves. It's so good.
And you probably have been watching it yourselves.
I would hope so. We've gotten a lot of really cool comments.
Can we just talk about what this arc pretty much is? It's the fall of Reculus.
It's the peak and then just the downfall of him, and it is glorious.
Yes. And the first episode is the episode we're introduced to Kaburagi's sister, Suzume. And she is captured, or at
Funny
least
enough,
assumed.
very quickly becomes very relevant to the plot and a very important character in a
well,
very short amount of time.
Because we were behind and we hadn't watched anything outside of this yet, we were still speculating because of certain parts that happen at the end of this episode of what kind of key player she's gonna be.
And we'll go over some of what our theories were. And, what we picked up on when it comes to the breadcrumbs to the climax of this arc, which is really, really good.
Yes. And
if we'll talk about, if certain things were correct or wrong, but, that's, you'll see that as it unfolds.
And that's kind of the thing in this, is, it opens up and it's, Reculus being hey, I want to talk to Jeremy, because he wants to do something with Jeremy, obviously, and he's using Kaburagi to pretty much talk to Jeremy and get him to come over to the palace.
And also arranging it so Jeremy now knows about his sister.
Yeah, exactly. You see, oh my god, Kuroda, that's his name. His main guy just literally is oh, but what about Lady Suzume? And all of a sudden, that's how you get Jeremy to help.
He set it up.
Exactly, and you actually do get to find out how Kaburagi became king 15 years ago after raising a rebellion to fight their glutton of a king, pretty much.
Yeah, apparently during again, we're learning more about the Fury of the Gods, which I am all for. I love that this keeps popping up and we keep learning more details in the different kingdoms about it. It was just everything was on fire. They were eating everything, and everyone was starving because what they did collect, the king was hoarding to himself, and he overthrew the government and became their new ruler.
So yeah, he's
wow.
good at backstabbing.
He's a backstabbing.
He does what he likes to do, and we also find out that that Tofu does have the priority of the demi shoe gods.
Yeah, because they use them for farming and everything, which makes sense because it is also a very large kingdom.
Oh yeah. Also, the scene where Jeremy reveals to everyone that Kaburagi has a sister.
But like that was the contract with Tofu was like also with Shugadam.
Yeah.
Red's kingdom, Reculus' place.
The head of the
It's a part of
county.
the deal, and it's one of the reasons why
he probably works for him.
He like works for him so hard, along with the fact that his sister's there.
But we also get to see we
talking about the reveal.
Yeah, Jeremy just walks in, just being like, "You guys would not believe the information." Everyone's like,
"Guys, I have so much tea to spill." Like he's so excited.
Like, can't you just be open forward about it? He's like, "Fine." He has a sister. Because everyone was seeming to lose interest, and they were like, "Okay, we need to sneak away to do this." And so
Gira kind of comes up with like an excuse as to why. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go and capture her from the castle so that I can have control of her, and then Kagaragi will have to answer to me instead." And they're like, "Oh, so you want to rescue a sister?" So that he does. No.
And then Jeremy leaves to go with him to go talk to Reculus, but you have the other kings giving Gyra a special suit to be able to be in disguise as one of the Pillbug taxis.
So cute. I would love to see someone cosplay this at a con, just out of context. Like, no one would understand what the fuck this is,
and
but how funny would it
all
be?
All the pieces are from, like, the technology of Nokasopa. You got Gokon's heating thing, so it's super hot.
He hates it.
And the yellow fashion of
They slapped some flowers in there. Do you want to go a little bit back and forth between the Bugnark as they pop up, or do you want to, like... keep talking about the sister.
I would say, did they really do anything else outside?
I don't know.
I
kind of have to mention the fact I really didn't like this villain of the week.
Fucking fly thing.
Like he fucking annoyed the hell out of me.
He just kept saying sorry for everything.
Like yeah, like and not only just because it's like oh my gosh, every single thing that comes out of his mouth is an apology. I like the design though. The design's very cool. I love the fuzz and the eyes and stuff.
I do love the line. I would really appreciate it if you would all die.
Yeah, but and he also flies weird. But
well, yeah,
I think
he's not a good monster.
I think it's like the point is the fact that he annoys you, but I think it's also because like the sentences because it's an apology, and from what my limited knowledge of like how the Japanese language works, it's like if something ends as an apology, like how when we end something as a question, our voice goes up.
Yeah.
Like they always end with like "su" or like something. It all ends very similar. So the fact that he was just making the same like high pitched like sounds. I was just like, stop it!
But yeah, no. And by the way, we see our favorite fucking weird Dennison with the bowler hat try to get in Gyra as the taxi.
He had a date or something like that.
Yeah, and he does come back later. He's like, hey, I was late because of this thing. It's not my fault. And then we cut to Reculus. Pretty much being like, hey, I want to make a peace treaty with the Bugnark. Can you schedule a meeting? And he's like, Jeremy's like, I could do that, but you have to release Kaburagi's sister.
And he's like, well, she's her own woman. She could figure it out.
Well, no, remember before that though, because he's shocked for him.
Oh,
to say that.
right, yeah. I forgot about that.
And then like Jeremy's just like, hey, I get it. You got to spend the time you have with your family. You never know when it can just die
and just come to an end.
Like,
and then he's like, please, I humbly beg that you consider this. He's just like, well, I can't speak for her. I can't. That's for her to decide, not me.
And then we cut to Gyra breaking into her room
and waking her up, and she just
terrified. And then immediately gets horny when Reculus comes into the room.
Well, no. You skip the part of like her brother actually does like run in. It's just like full big sibling. Are you hurt? Are you in pain? Are you okay? Do you need a snack? Are you lonely? Like
yeah, exactly.
Do you need a snack would absolutely be something he would say.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm realizing this will come back later. I'm realizing what happens in this moment.
Mm-hmm. This does believe it or not, this actually does become relevant by the end of this arc.
Jeremy's face though. Is just in such shock.
He's watching a soap like this whole time. Like you see his like eyes darting back and forth. It's like, really hilarious.
Like, what?
Because she immediately runs up and it's just like, oh, Reculus, my love, and just
and you have Kaburagi who's just going, look,
big brother, you're so lame. Why are you here?
What's happening? What the fuck?
Man, they're all just like, what? And she's like, oh, because apparently like, the whole thing was like, oh, his sister was sick with something.
Or, yeah.
And then, like, it's like, oh, she was over here. And she's like, I'm not even sick anymore. The only sick I am is lovesick. I think I was allergic to the soil or something. Which I wonder if that's ever going to come back, if the fact that she actually is sick. Because in this, she seems perfectly fine. And she's saying she's not sick anymore.
To be fair, we have 3 other points to bring up with her later. So we're going to save that for a little bit.
She actually is legitimately important. So remember this, sister. I feel like
let's just keep skimming over these as we go.
Yeah, they're all just shocked. And she's just like, nah, I'm staying.
Well, yeah, and this is also where Kaburagi takes his full knee and just commits himself to Reculus.
Because he wants to, make sure that his people and his sister are protected, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
It's and his excuse is like, why wouldn't I want peace?
Well, yeah, because he wants Tofu to be the opening part to where they meet the Bugnark.
Right.
So that's another reason. And then obviously we get a fight scene.
B
just slaughters the
I love this scene. We have a screenshot of it when they come really close face to face. Oh, that was so cool.
And then we get to see our first battle with Tarantula Knight, which was awesome.
Oh, so good.
Yep, we got to see him use his chainsaw hand, which was amazing. And Gaira was just pretty much just saying, hey, I get it, you were upset, and I trust you, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Jeremy makes the arrangements. I'm saving this for last. I know what you're about to say. And we see Jeremy make the arrangements, and Reculus
is talking to Deathnyark.
By himself, goes to see Deathnyark.
Yeah, because I don't know if it's in the beginning of next episode, but we do see that Jeremy did offer to come and be like, "Oh, I'll go with you to witness such a great moment in history." He's just like, "No, I have to make sure that I do this alone." Blah blah blah. Stupid lie that Jeremy isn't picking up on. And he goes to make arrangements with it, and
he already did it, But before that, we also cut back to Suzume in a different outfit.
She's actually in she's not in her I imagine pajamas or whatever.
Her matching outfit with Kaburagi.
Yeah.
And you see her just pull out a katana
and just be like, "We've got this, brother." Essentially.
Yeah, it's like, "Don't worry, I've got this." We're like, "Oh my god, is she going to assassinate?"
Yeah, that was just like, "Oh, I wonder if she's playing exactly like Kaburagi doing and playing those sides so that she can be in a position to fuck up Regulus."
It was in that moment we were realizing, oh no, Kaburagi was playing into it. He knew. They're already known with each other. They were 40 chessing right there.
Yeah, what we were assuming is they didn't really know exactly what the other has going on, but they trust each other enough to know that they know what they're doing, and they're doing what they are doing on purpose, so play along kind of thing.
Now, put a pin in Suzume.
Yeah, so put a pin in that, and we'll come back to it.
She doesn't come back until a couple episodes later, because next we have probably your favorite episode of the bunch,
I was
Rita
so
episode.
Excited for this.
And this is pretty much the story of how Rita became the Supreme Justice.
Woo!
And apparently she became,
First of all, we get an ad for a toy that's legitimately out there. We open up with an ad.
Yeah, we open up with the new premium Mufon,
which I'm really considering getting.
Yeah, it talks.
It talks.
And she's pretty much apparently they have one in storage.
For evidence.
That
from the one guy that was scalping. Yeah.
Yeah, and all of a sudden he's just like.
Oh, he's probably there all alone.
No, the Mufon. She has Mufon say, but you have a bunch already because she says she wants it.
Mm-hmm. It was even made by premium craftsmanship in Ishibana.
Yeah, exactly. And I like that they say where she's like, it'd be wrong to claim to evidence. And all of a sudden, I don't know. Oh yeah, she says it in the Mufon voice of that Mufon's all alone in storage. Don't you feel bad for him? And then
you're right. You're genius.
And she's like, I'll store the evidence here. And tries to get herself a way to do it.
And then what was her Marfonia
comes in and is just being like, "Oh, it's your 15th anniversary of being the Supreme Justice.
Well, come on, let's go buy you that new Mufon I know you've been wanting."
And she's just like, I can't. I have to
Not
do something."
today.
And you find out
every year
her first trial ever,
where she convicted
somebody was for the death of the original Supreme Justice by the king.
No, it was a judgment for the person that killed them.
That's what I'm saying.
You make it sound like they had to kill them.
No, it's supposedly the husband, which would have been the king because she was the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Killed her.
Yeah,
Poisoned her,
her.
much like Himino's parents.
Yeah. Exactly, and you can tell that Rita is like upset about it. You also see that they're very young.
With it. And you also find out she was 10 when it happened, and she was 5 when she was a retrainer.
Yeah, she was chosen at 5 to be the retrainer. Essentially, I can't speak. Essentially, what Monophonia is, I think I said that name right.
She's like, wait, why do I have to?
But because the queen died so early on, they were elected and had to do their first trial at 10.
And so it's like super sad. And you even just see this, the past king just be like, I did it. He's like...
Yes, I admit to it.
Yeah, he's like, yep, all the info you have is right. You are correct. And that's...
And apparently every year on the anniversary of this trial, they essentially...
They have to retry him.
They basically retry him because he has a life sentence to see if he still remains innocent, or if he still remains guilty or is proven innocent miraculously, essentially.
Yeah, and
it's something that you can tell, like, Rita, there's something that is missing from this that I don't have yet.
And she almost wants to free him, which...
She wants to so bad, but she doesn't have the right evidence to free him.
And she goes to Ichiban and actually has the poison from that day.
She brings the evidence bags and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Returns the one Mufon, which is cute because it's a Himino, funny enough, and then, like, she like has to like really get it out of Rita's hands.
Yeah, which we will have to come back to that in a minute. And we pretty much, because this episode kind of already unravels that, and like as soon as she finds out that the scorpion venom is the same, you find out this whole conspiracy.
Yeah, because it's a perfect 100% match. It is the same venom.
Well, yeah, and that means they're like, then you couldn't have had it, or what do you have to attach to the thing? And he's just like, okay, we faked it, but the old sovereign had to do something that was above the law. And had to keep the neutrality of Gokhan, faked her death. It made me do the poison, but we knew that you were being the right choice.
Like, once you were able to find the right evidence, then I could tell you the truth, but it had to wait until then. It could not be broken. I had to stay in character, essentially.
Yeah, and exactly. So he's going to go find the Sovereign, which...
And by the way, Himino is there because they had to, like, basically try as a witness that they were the ones that tested it and everything. Yeah, so they're witnessing this whole thing.
Well, exactly, and she's just like... And now they're just like, now we know for sure that the fury of the gods was caused by a person.
It wasn't a natural disaster, which is something Himino has been trying to say for this whole time, but no one either A, believed her, or B, had any evidence towards it.
And that's pretty much...
And he pulls out, like, a little thing in his, like, as a necklace. I don't know if we see it right away yet, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, he doesn't open it, but it does open.
Yeah. Well, no, he opens it, and that's where they read it, and that's where it says...
It's a message from the queen.
Yeah, that's, like, pretty much like the we believe in you. It's like...
Like, it's like, embrace...
Your mistakes.
Embrace your mistakes, and... Oh my gosh, what was it?
And be strong.
No, like your fears or anything, because that's what makes you... I wish I could remember.
It keeps you tight, where it's like, hey, the law is supposed to protect the weak, pretty much.
Essentially. Oh, yes, like, embrace your weaknesses because that is what we protect.
Yeah, that is your strongest
So embrace them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what we are protecting.
Then we get this pretty much epic fight with this other...
Another awesome butterfly shot.
Well, it almost looked... This Bugnark almost had like its own like little fairy tale around it.
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, but usually this special guy goes to come clean the snow, and it looked like it was this Bugnark, but then it turned evil.
Yeah, it was like everyone, like, one of the biggest punishments that like they have to do is essentially they have to shovel the snow around the prison, and they're like, oh, but like no one ever does the entryway, but it's always perfect, kind of thing. And then you see that it's actually a mole one, and it's been the one that's been dealing with the snow.
Yeah, and then, like, sadly, it gets convinced to fight everyone, and it turns big, and we get straight-up God Tarantula Spider-Man posing. It's good stuff. It's just Spider-Man.
And we get such a heartwarming ending on this one.
Where
Himino tries to give Rita a gift because it's just, I've been trying to prove the fact that the fury of the gods was caused by a person for so long, and you finally proved me right. You proved me not a liar, and I wanted to thank you. And Rita... dying, because I think they open it and then they see it's a Mufon, essentially.
Yeah, it's the premium Mufon.
No, wait, they don't open it right away, but it is that. Like,
you knew.
Like,
everyone knows.
We all know. It's like they were trying to hand them a little bag. It's just like, I can't. Like, I have to be impartial. And like, okay, well, can you dispose of this for me? It's garbage now. I guess I'm just gonna walk away. And they walked away. And then that's when they pull out the Mufon that they've been wanting, still in box.
Saying thank you, and then shuts the door.
It's just, and I'm just like, God, it makes me feel so bad for Rita, because they've been, like, having to be like this their whole life.
Well, now it also makes sense why she also related to Mufon as much as Himino, because it's like, she was pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, and the fact that
even at a younger age.
You can tell it is killing Rita. They want interaction so bad. They want connection so bad and friendship, and to not be impartial and to have an opinion, you know. But like, oh my god, could you imagine just how much?
Yeah. So next.
God, how much that hurts. That you just like
yeah.
want to so desperately, but you can't, and it's not even because of your own limitations or because people don't want to, because it is literally the law. Like.
Yeah. By the way, so this is the episode where everything goes to shit.
This is what that was the setup episode, for this.
So 17 is, and I don't remember if 16 ended with it or not, with Blue having the Bugnark attacking everywhere, and Gyro is helping him out and everything, and gets a call from Reculus.
And Kasopa, by the way,
yeah.
Blue's Kingdom.
And he's just like, can't you understand? You're supposed to think you're dead, dumb nut. And
yeah, because he sends like a little video message thing. He like steps on Gira.
Yeah, and he's pretty much like, hey, yeah, the Bugnark are gonna keep Shogadam cool. The rest of you are fucked. You better you fucking follow my lead.
Right, and like I can't help you out, and you can't use King Oger because that's breaking the treaty or whatever it is.
Exactly, and this starts a downward spiral.
And he laughs like Gira.
Yeah, exactly, like evilly, and he literally says, "I would sell my soul to the devil itself." For more power and everything. Mm-hmm. And you just see kind of Jeremy break down. He's like, this isn't what I fucking wanted. This isn't what I wanted at all.
I was tricked. Like, this is awful.
Like, and, like, you just see him keep, like, knocking everyone down. And, like, the Bugnark you find out are trying to, like, bring back Gyorg, I think is his name. Like, their champion. Like, who can apparently kill, like, anyone in one
like 10,000 people by just the swing of, like, by the swing of his weapon.
And we just pretty much...
Which we see. That is not a legend. We see it.
I would say, I want to say that happens in the next episode. Like I said, these are all blending together, so we're honestly not gonna...
Well, no, we see, like, a little, like, flashback of when he used it before.
These are when all the episodes in my head mesh together, because it's one long, flowing story. So, from here on out, we are kind of going to be talking about 17 to 20 until we get to the end. Because there are several days within it, but still, you see Jeremy, like, and everyone else trying to control King Oger, and, like, Reculus with King Oger Zero just smacks them to the ground and saying, you're not allowed to use King Oger unless I say so. And pretty much the Bugnark are attacking. You're finding out that he's just letting them lay waste to everywhere else. They're attacking Gokon. They're attacking Enkasopa. That's it.
Mainly Enkasopa, yeah. But like they're popping up in all the other countries regardless.
Yeah.
Except for Tofu because they're a part of the treaty as well.
Exactly. And again, you see Jeremy kind of break down and like he's like, fuck it. I'm going to control all the mecha. And we see our first thing of King Oger Extreme, but it's improper. Yes, all the bugs are fully there, but he does not have the crown. That becomes important in a little bit.
Yeah, and we saw
it can hold together.
Yeah, we saw before that he has the ability of like controlling the whole thing, like with spider webs and stuff like that.
And
but
you kept seeing
he
it.
severed it earlier, but this we actually get to see the results of him actually using that, which was really cool.
Which was forcing it, and he could not keep it together because I guess all the other ones were like, "Hey, whoa, what the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
And we then like pretty much have him being like, "Hey, you can't let them revive Gyorg." He's like, "What are you talking?" Reculus is like, "What are you talking about? That was part of my deal. I'd revive their champion.
I gave them the technology to do it."
Yeah, to revive their champion. Like, that's fair, right? And he's pretty much just like, you son of a bitch!
Oh, yeah, he's pissed.
And we pretty much get to where Gyorg is now just going over to Yama and Gyra. Well, no, just Yama, I think, at this point.
Yeah, it's just Enkasopa.
And, like, he's just getting annihilated. And he just gets hit.
I think it's like after like even just like one swing, he's like turned to mush.
Oh yeah, because they tied up Gira. Yes.
Yeah, because like the whole point of this was that everyone was working together to evacuate all the citizens, and they are essentially taking care of like the smaller Bugnark and having to escape because the main problem was like I care about the civilians. I need to get the people out of here.
And Yama was the distraction.
And he was the distraction. He's just gonna go there and buy as much time as possible.
And AKA he's gonna die.
Yeah, he went in knowing he was going to die.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. And you just
Gira. It was like one of the last people that they were trying to get out of there.
And his little friend.
And his friend, the little swirly dude. Charlie Brown.
Shodoka.
Oh my gosh, he has a Charlie Brown
He does.
swirl.
His name is Shodoka. I think.
Anyway, so Charlie Brown.
Charlie Brown.
He's like so upset because he's just like, please, if I can get you out of here fast enough, maybe he has a chance to run away.
And you're just like, he's not gonna run. And like that's when he lets Gyra go. But before we get to that, we literally, like you said, he just breaks into a building and you just see him trying to get up and start fighting. And you literally have Reculus saying, no, apologize. Come on. Suck up to me.
Come on. I'll let you be a part of this.
We won't let you die.
No, like, it's just you have to hand your kingdom over to me,
yeah,
too. I think.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
said.
oh, or you're going to let all your people die, too.
Yeah,
and
we're going to go on and
Reculus
slaughter them all.
doesn't know that they're gone yet.
Yeah, because this is kind of where it was revealed that he was a distraction and everybody has actually has been evacuated out.
And right as he is about to...
Death finishing blow.
Death blow. He literally, Gyra shows up and everyone's like, and that's kind of where the episode ends. And obviously we open up because
everyone is watching this over and everyone's like kind of like either cheering on or screaming or reacting to it. And Gira, this is the first time people have seen Gira alive. So this is like the reveal that he is alive and he's just like, I am back from the depths of hell, and he looks awesome.
And we get our first shot of the Founder's Crown, and we get to see Reculus transform with it into his wonderful, wonderful silver gold form. Which I have a picture somewhere, I thought. I may have to go get that.
Whoops.
I thought I had
gorgeous
one.
Suit, though.
I
did once I was like looking a little bit more back and forth with it because
yeah, I could have sworn there was one right about here, but okay.
But like, what a gorgeous suit! Like,
yeah, exactly.
I
love the crown itself.
I love the like details underneath, like the gray that they have for him.
Yeah, the silver
has actually like white and like silver in it, and I also noticed the crest right in the middle is actually more of like a jewel because like the whole like head piece and like the chest are like one big crown shape essentially.
Yeah. It's forming the beetle because it's also forming the back horns.
Yeah, it still keeps the bug in there, which I absolutely love. But like it's really cool because you always see like the little the little like the kingdom symbols on each of their things, but it's clear, but this overlay is red.
Yeah.
So it looks like a gem, and I'm just like, yes.
Yes. Also, the death blow guy tries to kill Gira, and that's when Reculus kind of steps in with the crown, just being like, no, you don't get to take my prey, pretty much.
Yeah, and then like that actually causes the two of them to fight for a little bit, because he's just like, no, like you don't get to tell me that.
And then Jeremy gets them the fuck out of there.
Yeah, thank God Jeremy was able to like show up in time.
And you just see him fall into just so much despair.
Jeremy just so fucking upset about this. He's blaming himself. And
he's saying, like, this is where Gira reveals he remembers the crown. He's like, I didn't remember it until I saw the crown, but that's something that has been in our family.
Yeah.
He's like, I remember
it's a founder's
Reculus
crown.
telling me about it.
And all I really know is that it's really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And you just see, like, Jeremy breaking down. He even asks, he's like, would it be more peaceful without me?
If I just didn't exist.
And you're just like, oh my god. And you find out, like, he does say at one moment that the spear is one of the most important parts of the crown, so you can reveal its true power.
Mm-hmm.
But that's more of a thing we'll talk about later. And we pretty much then just set up, because Kaburagi sees this, and he's just, like, immediately like, well, I need to steal that. I need to steal that quick. And this is when Suzume kind of comes back.
Yeah, because, like, he comes and, like, visits here, and she essentially humiliates him. He has him crawling around on the ground.
Yeah, because the guards are trying to kick him out.
Yeah, because everyone's trying to kick him out, but like she's just like, well, I'm his fiance, so I'm potentially a potential fiance. I have just as much of a right to boss you around as he does at this moment when he's not here. No, you crawl on the ground like a beetle.
Yeah, exactly, and then that's how he finds a secret compartment.
And she's like kicking her feet and laughing at him and stuff like that, which leads him to see the little button, basically. In little gear-shaped button in the throne.
And we immediately have it be revealed that the whole time, because again, they try to use King Oger again, and I think are knocked out of it, and you have Kaburagi, as he's in King Oger Zero, come in and just be like, oh, that's a nice crown you have there.
Would be a shame if someone came and fucking took it with this.
Yeah, exactly, and then literally is just like, and I'm giving it to Gira. Whee!
Yeah. He legitimately like presents it, and we get a shot of like Gira's version of this, which is gorgeous in like a completely different way. I love these two suits for like different reasons, essentially, because I love like the solid gold of it all. Like it looks very uniform, very nice, and I like Reculus's too. I feel like they're both equally good. So.
And you pretty much find out he's like, have you been planning this the whole time? He's like, yeah.
No shit.
no duh. Like. And so he gives him the spear, and you see this gorgeous suit. It's all gold this time around.
I think I'm realizing, did Regulus have like the gem on the front that I was talking about? Okay.
Yes, it did. And we even see him reveal, like, pretty much just smack everyone around with his dick, by the way.
Pretty much.
And he's pretty much just telling Regulus, he's like, I remember what you were. It's like, I remember what you told me. The reason I had my visualization of what I wanted the king to be
was because of you.
What you dreamed you wanted to be as king.
And you gave up on it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't say that yet, but he's just like, and then we see Extreme King Oger properly with the crown, and he literally even says, and this is such a good line, where he says, let me get it loaded. Oh no. How can someone who can't make fantasy into reality claim to be king? Because he literally just made Extreme King Oger on his own. And everyone else is just standing around him. And you just see Regulus, since his ass got kicked, he goes back to the kingdom. And it is swarmed. It is just covered in Bugnark.
And they just like, what? Is no one gonna greet me or whatever?
Yeah, like, no one's around. What the hell? And
we kind of get a nice glimpse of everyone in the group, funny enough. Like,
well, that's from the preview.
I know, but it looks nice.
And then we pretty much cut back to everyone. We cut back to the new thing where everyone is in Ichiban. They're kind of healing up. And they're trying to figure it out. And they get a message from Regulus, which is obviously being held hostage by the Bugnark.
Yeah, they even stabbing him.
And he's just being like, he's just like, hey, because it's like you find out, you see him literally get his ass kicked in everything in the opening. He's like, where is everyone? And everyone's like, well, this is what you wanted, to live side by side with the Bugnark.
Now they're roaming around everywhere.
Long story short, they've pretty much taken over the town.
Pretty much, and everyone's just kind of in hiding in fear.
And everyone's terrified. And they literally are saying, we would like to extend our friendship and everything.
Ooh, anyone wants it.
Yeah, and you also get to see Jeremy in the background in a sad
little hammock
he probably made. That's my hit.
He's curl up in a ball. Yeah, I mean, it's gotta.
And we pretty much see that.
If it were from Ishibana, then it would have had like flowers. It would have been like vines or something. Yeah, of course he made it.
Yama's too injured to do anything.
He's bedridden.
Yeah, and then like he talks to Kaburagi again, talking about how trustworthy he is, because they think there was even a scene earlier where he talks about it. He's like you only do what's best for your people.
Yeah, he even kind of confirms, like, he basically gives him the key to like understanding how he acts and like in ways to like kind of predict how he's going to act. It's just I just act in the moment what is best for my people. And he's like, I guess that does make you kind of more trustworthy in a way, because he will do anything for his people. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then we pretty much have Gaira going back to his kingdom, and he's just like, hey, don't worry. He's like...
Because this is him basically going back for the first time alive.
Well, yeah, that and
not in hiding.
Kuwagon's scared for him. He doesn't want to see his friend die, and he's like, I have to do this, because if I can't, then there's nothing I can do.
I can't protect them. Exactly. He wants to win and get this.
Yeah, and you pretty much just see him.
People.
And I think this is the moment where you actually get to see, and I don't think we have any screenshots of it, or maybe we do, but like this is the first time we get to see like the people see Gaira doing a good thing, where you see people question, and they're like, wait, why is the rebel doing this?
Wait a minute, like, why is Regulus not doing anything?
Yeah, and why is this not Regulus?
He's not actually fighting them for the sake of it. He's fighting for us. Like, they notice. Yeah. Like, people start to actually, like, notice and talk about it. And I'm just like, yes,
you even find out from Tiny Tim and whatever her name is that they're, like, starving.
Yeah, like, they were looking for food.
They were rummaging for food.
And we see that she's kind of, like, taken over a little bit.
And you see that the others show up and they have a plan, and they're just... obviously probably trying to evacuate, which they do confirm later. They are evacuating the city, much like they did
basically pretty much what they did there.
Then we cut back to probably one of my favorite moments, which is so funny because it's so childish.
I love like seeing them sit together like that, because they basically look like two like teenage friends that are like super close best friends, but they're both kind of depressed, so they just kind of sit around and listen to sad music together sometimes and like talk about existentialism.
By the way, the head nurse is just like telling Yama to stay put, stop moving.
Yeah, or else I'll fight you.
And we then see, we have Jeremy saying how pitiful he is and everything, and now they're
calling him a little brat, which I absolutely love.
They call Reculus a little brat. And I like that they were passing around his head and then crushed it later. That was funny.
And they basically call him an asshat.
And they were just, and they were like, oh, we have an idea. And Jeremy gets them the fuck out of there. And the nurse is just like, God damn it!
Unbelievable.
And Suzume is then calling Reculus, not Reculus, calling her brother, because Reculus is literally getting the crap beaten out of him in his castle.
Things are getting out of hand, essentially.
And you have all his guards surrounded by Bugnark.
It's so funny because, like, this kind of confirms a few things. So think about it. She had a phone this whole time. She could have called him this whole time. And we do see later that, like, they did communicate in a way. Not this phone. So obviously they don't want their messages being seen. Mm-hmm. Wait, no, like, we saw it at this point, right?
No, we haven't. That's later in the episode.
Alright, cool. And, so it's like, but, like, it's so bad that it doesn't matter if their message is being heard or not. She's like, you need to get here now. Like, not even in character whatsoever.
Because, that's not revealed until the episode.
But, like, how she's talking, you can tell.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, this is terrible. And we see his head servant, Lumiere, or whatever his actual, like,
we don't really know.
Something, whatever his name is. He's talking out. He's like, hey, I don't want to listen to you guys. I'm only following my lord, where it's like, and everything.
I was sworn to the king, not you.
Yeah, not to monsters. And then Deathnyark's like,
I feel like a little bit of what he said was like, I will not serve a monster, like, is also kind of directed at Reculus a little bit, like he's calling him a monster, just like,
well, yeah.
Because I feel like at this point, it's kind of like people have started to figure out something is wrong with the king. This is not right. This is not good.
Yeah.
Everything's starting to slip.
And we see, like...
Deathnyark demands him to kill Lumiere.
Yeah, and, like, you just see Lumiere get the hell out of there. Like, he doesn't actually... Like, you see Reculus get close. Well, no, Cogsworth's nowhere to be seen.
I thought he ran off.
No, he's not in the pile of humans. And now that I'm thinking about it, that becomes really relevant in a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
And you just literally see Reculus, because he lost the crown and everything, they're like, you're nothing, bitch. And you just start seeing him run like a little bitch.
And it's even funnier because, like, the Deathnyark are kind of talking about...
Like, how weak he is.
How weak he is. Puppy. Not even that. A puppy? A puppet. No, I'm meaning more just, like... Because he even asked, like, why are you even going after the throne?
Yeah, he's just such a dick about
like, what
it.
is the point of it? Like, Reculus is asking this of Deathnyark. And it's just like, I want them to suffer. I don't want to just kill them. I want to get into a position and then just make them suffer as much as possible. And I want you to watch.
To fill my rage.
To fulfill my rage.
And then we pretty much just see him running away. Oh, I think this is where the scene with
Gyra, this was the scene with Gyra where he's basically returning and people are starting to talk better about him because he's fighting the bug.
Well, yeah, and then we immediately see him running like a little bitch out of the castle and run into Yama and Jeremy. And they were so excited.
Oh my gosh! And man, these guys are
Reculus immediately.
He's shitting himself, guys.
Well, no, not even. He's just like, well, now we gotta regroup and do the Quintet Alliance. Come on, guys. We're gonna kick their guys'
Oh my gosh, everything went wrong. They took over and whatever. And they're just like, oh, bitch, we know that's
Yama's
not
literally
true.
like, you tried to have me killed. And
you knew more than anyone else how close you were to killing me.
Fuck you. And just... You see them literally corner him. They web him up.
And, like...
He's, like, begging for his life. And like,
he's
even
scared.
gives to Jeremy. He's like, don't you want peace? And, like, he's just like... Yama's like, now bow to me.
And, like, and Gira is watching this as well. And...
Well, he just ran up, yeah.
Yeah, and, like, it looks like he's basically going for the death blow. And Gira's just like, no! And he runs towards him. And then he pushes him.
Into the whoopee cushion
Onto the big fucking whoopee cushion. Fireworks are going off. Confetti is falling, and they're just like, fuck yeah, that's hilarious, and they're all laughing at him. They fist bump.
That's great.
Thoroughly fucking embarrassed. And honestly, like, in the moment, I was like, yes, beat his ass.
Oh, yeah,
beat him up. But it's like, you would think I would almost be disappointed that wasn't it, and it was just like, oh, and instead of that, they used the whoopee cushion. But guys, listen, like, how it actually is in the episode, it feels
it's like
satisfying.
It felt like killing him was too good of a way out.
It's like, think about it. Like, Reculus would probably rather be killed in rage or beaten to death rather than embarrassed in a way that he can't explain, and he can't, like...
He has a bird on his head.
He can't, like, talk to someone about this and just be like, oh, like, yeah, like, they did this or anything. Like, no. They embarrassed him and they laughed at him just for this their own sake, and he just has to live with that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yes, take him down a few pegs.
And you pretty much...
And it's funny because you can tell that like Jeremy is now just full on petty, just petty revenge at this point. Yeah. Because like he was mad last time. He was mad. He's like, this is what you're using my beloved technology for.
Fuck
but
you.
like he got to the point of just like, yes, this is amazing. This is glorious, brilliant.
Yeah, and then we pretty much earlier in the episode, I forgot to mention this. Rita was like, hey, we should write up a new treaty. Because that comes in pretty much right now when they go to confront Death Nyark after all of this.
Yeah, they bring him back, by the way, just like, hey, you forgot something.
Yeah, they just throw his bitch ass to them. And you pretty much, they exclaim themselves that the new treaty, they have now formed a new alliance called Osama Sentai King Oger. So, like, the Sentai forming technically is this episode. 19 episodes deep.
It's funny because, like, yeah, like, their team forming is technically political and a legal process as well, so it would take a long time, huh?
Yeah.
What'd they call it again?
The Five Kingdoms External Response Task Force.
I'm sorry, the Five Kingdom what?
The Five Kingdom Turmoil Response Task Force. I can't read.
Extra nominal.
I can't read.
It's basically like extra normal.
Yeah, and then
above and beyond.
And they fight my new favorite bug, Diamond Dan. He never got to finish his name. All we got to read is Diamond Dan.
And he kept getting cut off. And it's basically a reuse of the pill bug, I believe it was,
yeah.
or the dung beetle, was it?
Yeah.
What was it a reuse of?
No, it was the reuse of like the pill bug from episode 1.
Honestly, I like this one more. I really love the blue they used.
The nice powdery blue.
Nice little powdery blue.
And we get our first proper, all 6 of them.
Roll call.
Extreme King Oger.
Yeah.
And we actually
see all of the bugs.
All of them together, and we get to see all the bugs just flying towards each other, which was amazing. And we actually got to see Jeremy do something cool. We don't have any screenshots of it, but he pretty much is like, hey guys, wait, let me do this. He spins off, nets the monster just so they can explode the monster easier.
Yeah, he like detaches, does that, and then reattaches, and then explodes him. It felt very much like an RPG mode, like, hey, can I do this? And then he like rolled well
and it's
or
seeming like the people are now for Gira and kind of aren't down with Reculus.
Yeah, like the cracks are starting to form and people are starting to support Gira.
And Reculus immediately, and like we're not even joking, like this is like the episode after.
It opens up.
Yeah, and Reculus is getting married to Suzume, pretty much to cover up
how
he fucked up.
You forgot the very important ending of the last episode, actually.
What?
Because like after everything has been settled and everything blows up, they go back to Reculus and they actually can't execute him in the moment simply because Blue
got even.
Embarrassing enough, like actually counted as being even towards all of the things that Reculus did, so therefore he can't get the death penalty like how Rita wanted to. And then Rita screams. Even just like, you don't understand, I'm fucking the most angry in here, you piece of shit. Like exactly. you fucked it up.
And again, I can't believe they did something that I feel like you do see politically a lot.
Yeah, and then, like, what does Reculus do to distract from all of the hot water he's been in? He marries Suzume. Royal wedding.
Which, by the way, he steals the crown back from Gira. That's a thing.
That's a thing.
And, well, by the way, Gira also, in that moment, was like, trial by combat. Round 2, bitch. Let's go.
Yeah, and, like, another thing that...
And, like, that's something that pissed Rita off.
It's something that gets pointed out later, and it's something I can at least give the creators this, like, that they did set up as a thing. It's like, when you ask for a trial by combat and both people agree to be in it, you get, like, a week to prepare, or something like that. Like, they're... Yeah. Like, it's like, you... Instead of, like, getting him while he's down, we now gave him time to, like, rest and regroup and prepare. It's like, you fucked it up.
Yeah, and you can tell she's pissed about that.
Yeah, but it's just like, and then he's just like, ha ha, well, I guess I just get to, I don't even remember, but he had like some sort of like,
well, he's like, no, I have to beat him with my own hands.
I want to beat him with my own hands, ha ha ha, and then she's like, and then Rita's just like, why are you like this?
Why are you like this?
And it's like, we made a joke of just like them constantly going back and forth, just screaming and laughing, like, ha ha, ha ha.
But, we also have Kaburagi, like, Reculus is like, okay, now give me back my lance. Give me back the lance.
And this is actually
and
where
he asks him to call him, like, Kaburagi's like, now you have to call me older brother.
And then this is actually a very intense moment of, like, he truly threatens Suzume's life, like, to his face. Like, confirmed. It's not implied anymore. He's just like, her life is in my hands now.
Which, by the way, if anything, he is desperate.
Yeah, he is desperate at this moment. He's doing everything that he possibly can.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's just like, you fuck up, I kill her. Like, he doesn't even hold back anymore.
Admits that it's the key
He's
to
still
the castle.
in his wedding clothes. I mean, come on. I love the new robe, by the way.
Yeah. By the way,
I love the plays on black and gold.
That the spear is the key to the castle.
Essentially.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And we obviously go to the trial. We have the opening similar to the first round. I really didn't get any screenshots of it. And we have them pretty much fight immediately. Does he go crown immediately? I think he does go with the crown immediately.
I don't know. Something like that.
I
think so.
You see Kaburagi just be like, hey, Jeremy, I want you to help me with the spear thing. And this will come back into play.
Mm-hmm.
Much like later. Because they really don't want to give it back to him.
Right.
And then we pretty much also have this scene where Kaburagi, before Gaira could go do the final fight, he wanted to tell Kaburagi something about his sister. He's like, hey, I just wanted to know she cared. And he was just like, okay, what do you want in return? And Gaira just says, I want nothing. He's like, I don't know if I'll be able to tell you again.
So I just wanted you to know. Like, that she cried after you left and she really did miss you.
Yeah.
Like, kind of thing. And I feel like, because we learn later that, like, the information is technically useless to him.
Yeah.
Like, they never say it, but we kind of just know. We just know. Because, like, once you know the circumstance. But it's one of those things, like we were talking about, like, they were communicating while not on the phones and stuff so that it didn't get traced in any way. So,
later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when it happens, but the fact that it's like Kaburagi knows that Gira just wanted to tell him something to reassure him for nothing in return probably meant more, even though it was technically useless.
And this time, we actually have a split in the crowd.
Yeah, people are actually, like, cheering for Gira.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, I'm, like, he's like, why wouldn't I root for him? Reculus didn't do anything because he's a piece of shit.
We actually, it's so good to finally see the cracks forming and everything.
And you actually see Gira kick Reculus's ass, even in the golden form, to the point.
I'm not going to go back to
this?
Yes.
We'll go back to that in a second.
Okay.
I want to go back to that in a second because they were fighting for a little bit.
Okay.
Because
Guys,
he knocks the crown off it.
He's literally snatches his fucking weave straight off his head.
That's where we cut back to where we see who we think is Kaburagi walking around holding the spear, getting ready to go, obviously give it to Reculus, and Yama and Himino are like, hand that over.
No. And Jeremy's like, LOL, it's me, guess what?
Yeah.
And then Bugnark shows up and he's like, they're not with me.
No, it wasn't me. And then you see Bushimir, who got, like, yelled at by
Cogsworth, by the way.
Yeah, Cogsworth, Bushimir Cogsworth. He is just being, like, getting told by Reculus, he's like, you better go find me that spear, or I'll fucking kill you.
He even, like, cuts his, like, freaking pants off. And, like, he walks around with his pants around his fucking ankles for a long time.
Well, yeah, and then he finally steals the spear back. And
he does, like, just, like, because, like, Jeremy is very much not expecting it. He, like, lands on him, pants drawn around his ankles, and just kind of takes it and walks away. And Jeremy's just like, what the fuck just happened?
And
so, do you want to get into this fight now? Because, like, this is...
Well, no, like, now this is the ending part of the fight. You see him literally lay waste to Reculus. He doesn't put the crown on, by the way, until a little bit later. He is just literally just like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, because Reculus started off, like, just fully, like, with the crown on his head and everything. He's able to beat the crown off of him. Yeah, I'm just recapping real quick.
But, like...
And then, again, he has his ass thoroughly handed to him. And Gira... And then Rita even steps in his ass, do you surrender? And Gira starts to talk, because he knows that... Because Reculus even says it's not going to happen.
Yeah, he's like, I want you to apologize to the people of Shogunam, and I will secede.
I will let you win if you can go and you can give a good fucking apology to those people.
And, like, be the person you said you were going to be.
Be the person you aspired to be, that you dreamed of being. You can be that king that you wanted to have. Go and be it. Like.
And you see Reculus is like, no.
And then this is where I think they finally thoroughly cemented Reculus.
That's not until a little bit. Because look at, like, because the
I feel like with the audience rather than
audience.
Like with the people canon in like the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because to us it's like this felt like the perfect setup for
redemption,
a possible redemption. Even if he were to have a thing of like, no way, like you could have it just be like, oh, he really wanted to. You can like see that like how they're acting, like he really wants to or whatever. No, he in this like what happens? Like he just like, fuck that. I'm not happy. We're in the middle of a duel. And you're fucking dying. Like, I feel like it's at this moment, it's just like, okay, he had this set up for a redemption arc, and he said no redemption for him kind of thing, which I kind of love. And then who starts to show up?
But Cogsworth, and he's screaming.
Yeah, Bushamir.
And he comes with this fake lance, we turns out to be.
Yeah, it explodes.
And it throws both of them off. And it's revealed that Bushamir, this whole time, like, we're not even joking, was Kame Jim.
Yeah, it was the book fucking Bugnark that's been next to Deathnark this whole fucking time, which we'll actually talk about more in the Reculus special, funny enough.
But yeah, no. Well, it's like, and you're just like, holy shit, we had to ask, how long has he been Bushamir? He even asks him, he's like, you were a spy, how long have you been here? And he literally says he's most likely...
By the way, this fucking, like, you see a mental snap in him, because obviously, we saw in the flashback, Bushamir has been around the longest. And, like, he's been around, like, we saw him as a kid, like, oh, the king is asking for you.
Yeah, and he looked the same. And you
like,
thought 3 episodes before.
Yeah, I did think of that a few episodes before. I had, like, the thing of, like, oh... Bushamir, like, because they, like, I had a realization of, they, like, intentionally aged down the characters in that flashback. They've been very good at making sure it's just, like, you know how old some characters are. And, like, you see, again, they keep getting different actors so that they look different in those times. It's like, why not have Bushamir have,
or make them up in a certain way, because even think about the Gokon guy.
It's like, oh, like, why not have him... like, have, like, gray hair or white hair, like, because they would have had that distinction for kids, because they've made that very clear on when they are young and when they are old. And I realized, does he just not age? And I was like, the Bugnark don't really age that way. They age very slow. I wonder if he's a Bugnark, and he's an actual spy or something like that. And I had something else about, did you say Book Jim is his name? Kame Jim. And... what was it that I had about him?
I think we'll talk about that later.
But, like, either way, it's just like, I never put the two together to actually get the twist in it, but it blew my freaking mind.
And Bugnark obviously come and attack and everything.
But, they're actually, like, everyone backs them up, because Rita obviously is trying to be like, the trial isn't finished, you need to finish this first. And everyone is kind of pitching in. Jeremy and the other King Ogers are holding everybody back so that they can finish this duel. And Gira even says just like, we need to worry about the people. They're being attacked right now.
Yeah, the Bugnark are here, and you see...
And then he goes off.
Like episode 1, he's like, I am the nation.
The people are a means.
Yeah, they're tools. They only feel good when they're being useful. They're not much better than that. And you see the crowd...
Because this is being recorded. He doesn't know, but, like, everyone is still watching.
Yeah.
And you see all of their reactions.
You see him on the screen, literally face frontal cam, saying this to the people. And Gyra is just like, fuck it then.
I haven't seen Gyra that deeply offended in a while.
Yeah.
And
they transform one more time.
Ass.
And he goes to the golden form and literally does what he
did,
that Reculus did to him, and just sends him to a pit. And we also see Kame Jim get away.
Yeah, Kame Jim does get away. Even though, like, he was, like, on the verge of death. He's like, no, I can't die here.
Yeah, exactly. So
and, he gets sent off a cliff, and Rita declares that Gyra is the winner.
He is now the ruler.
And everyone cheers. Like, wasn't there there was also a moment, we don't have a screenshot of it, where, because Kaguragi brings him the real lance, because I forgot about that, but like Kaguragi brings him the real lance, and it's just like, this is the moment that I have been working towards for forever. And it actually does show like him with his sister plotting everything. Like when he walked up to her and held her hands, it was like asking, "Are you okay? Are you lonely?"
You see him
he slips her a piece of paper, and it's just like, I need to help you figure out where the key is, because I know it exists from when he went and like snooped around
in episode 8.
I need you to help me find it. And that was what she was doing when she was mocking him and stuff. She was showing him where to find it because she had figured it out. And he's just like, please, Gyra, in this moment, everything I've worked towards, do it. Beat his ass, essentially. And he freaking does. And then he even says, listen, and you can hear the whole kingdom in the background saying, Gira, Gira. They are on his fucking side. And my boy fucking wins. And what a fucking ending for him, too. Because think about it.
This was a good way to end on those group of episodes.
He had his ass beaten. He got thoroughly embarrassed. He ruined his reputation. He lost all of his power.
Assumed dead at the moment.
His little brother beat his ass. And he's no longer the king. He lost. What a fucking downfall. It was
beautiful.
Beautiful.
We think he might come back because we also saw that Death Nyark kicked Kame Jim out. He's like, I'm tired of your schemes. I'm tired of your plans. Get the fuck out.
I'm going in guns blazing. Get out. So it's like we wonder if like because they're technically both outcasts at the moment from the Bugnark and the humans, if they're gonna team up, like they're gonna team up and kind of be like the opposing force,
like be a third opposing force is Gaira and Kame Jim.
Because I can see this fight.
Regulus and Kame Jim.
I can see this being a fight between, like, everyone that is on, like, the King Odra sides. Like, essentially, I'm going to call it Jeremy's side of, we want to be able to have peace with the ones that want to have peace with each other. Like, we want the humans that want peace and, like, the Bugnark that want peace between us, and we want us to live in harmony. Then we have the Deathnark that are just like, no, we want to execute all of the humans, and we only want it to be us. And we wonder if they're going to grow in a third opposing force that's just, we want everyone to die and have there be nothing but us, essentially.
Well, yeah.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. And
we're going to have to, like, see
pretty
more.
That's pretty much until whatever is going to happen after this. But that was a good episode. That was a good set of arc. But
fantastic.
Before, let's go to
the Regulus special.
Which, this was pretty quick. We had an opening fight, obviously, between the new monster, and it's like, don't you want to know the secrets? And Regulus is like...
You've been searching for it for years, generations of kings.
And Regulus was like, die!
Yep. And... and we do see Cogsworth, Boromir.
Yeah, and they're
right?
just like, oh.
Did I say his name right?
No, Boshamir.
Boshamir. That's a Lord of the Rings character. Oh. Boshamir. And he's just like, and he was accusing the guy that's just like, I will continue her research from scratch because she didn't tell anybody. He's like, you do realize that'll lead to your death, and
he's just like, yeah, I know.
Whatever. And then he's just like, oh, you're probably just a spy. He's like, perhaps you're the spy. You have just as much reason. And then you had a fucking realization.
I realized how he laughed was exactly like Kame Jim. And I realized, I'm like, no, they've had the same mannerisms the whole time.
The whole fucking time. Like, in this, it confirms, okay, at this moment in time, that is him because they had the same hand.
Yep.
They do the thing with, like, their hand when they laugh. And also, he does a very specific bow when he puts his hand on his chest. Like, it's a typical bow, but no one else really does it except for him.
Exactly, but we also have...
And then, like, oh, we found this on her body.
Which was a piece of candy that we saw her swallow on purpose.
Yeah, the one where she, like, swallowed it whole. We were like, why the fuck did she do that? Because he, like, wipes it off, and it's, like, the candy.
And reveals it.
And he puts it up, and it has, like, words on it. And it's in their made-up language, so we have no clue what it says, essentially. But we see what happens.
Yeah, this is how he gets the crown.
This is how he gets the
Founder's crown and the lance.
He puts on... By the way, they got, like, a new version of the crown. Like, it's actually, like, metal, and it looks a lot nicer. It doesn't look like cardboard. Yes. Which you can buy now, which I wanted, but it was, like,
$400.
$400. I was like, I don't need it that much. But, and, like, he has it on, he takes his crown, and then he, like, puts it in, like, a certain way, I think, and then it causes, like, the statue to also, like, put its, like, sword in the thing. And it opens up, and then that's how the Founder's crown was it, and like a thing lights up on the castle. Yeah, and you find out
he's had it since episode 3.
Yeah, at the very end it says this takes place between episodes 2 and 3. So knowing that, like, they just revealed and then confirmed the fact that that is Book Gem.
Kame Jim.
Yeah. Kame Jim. It's just like he has been. They're confirming to you is essentially like. This has been him essentially the whole show at the very least. Because something that I actually noticed, because I was thinking back to that flashback that we saw where he was like, oh, the king is asking for you. He did the same bow that he also does. So it's like, I think he's also been that for basically Regulus's whole life.
Well,
slowly basically being Palpatine, just like, do it.
Well, you even hear him say, he's like, oh, it must feel terrible to find out that you were a puppet. Mm-hmm. He says that.
Yeah, and like, even he's mad about it, so it's like, I wonder how Regulus will, like, take something
exactly,
like that.
But he might just take Kame Jim with him just because that's all he has left.
That's all he knows.
But overall, this was a great set of episodes.
So
Regulus's fall was amazing!
And then they're just like, and I think even Rita at one point walks up to him and is just like, you are now the king of Shogunam.
The ruler.
You are the ruler. And we did know that there was, like, a coronation ceremony.
Yep, that's gonna be the movie.
So, which is the movie. Granted, we didn't exactly know when this would happen. We're like, oh, for all we know, this could be, like, late in the season or something like that.
I'm surprised it happened this fast, but I'm in.
Apparently.
I'm excited to see, because it seems like the next episode is going to be the trials of the rest of them to see if he's worthy.
Oh, by the way, the lance, like, we actually do see Kaguragi getting the lance. After he pushed the button, it actually was, the throne slides back and it was underneath the throne.
Oh, yeah. which was cool.
And also, it kind of makes sense why he has been so cocky, because he knew that he had that ace in his pocket the whole time.
Yeah, he had the crown.
But I also have to compliment, like, during their fight, it really did feel it's like they were saying the same dialogue, they gave the same reasons for wanting the fight and everything. It's very much a mirror of that first fight, which we actually rewatched recently.
We watched the day before.
We just like because we were watching it with somebody else, and it's such a great comparison, because like it does play out almost exactly the same. But Gira feels different, Regulus feels different. And the fact that you can tell Gira has improved so much when it comes to fighting. And Regulus hasn't done shit, if you think about it. He hasn't improved because he tries to do it the least amount possible. And yeah, he had a power-up, but it even didn't matter because he didn't have the skill to go with it.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much it.
I did want to make one little comment, because something like that was just a small thing that I noticed that I thought was interesting was like the ring that Kaguragi's sister got at their wedding.
I think you're looking too deep into it.
I thought it was just kind of cool because it has the insignia of Shogunam on it. Obviously, the representation of the king in Regulus's eyes, because he is the nation. And it made me wonder, because it's like, why that would be on a wedding ring at all. But you would point out, it's like, oh, it is a royal wedding, so it would make sense why she would be wearing it, especially since she's from a different country.
Jewels, yeah.
It's like or it could be like a family jewel, like from his mother or something. But I thought it was kind of interesting because the logo you would assume would be facing down, because if she's going to be queen, she would be talking to people, and like whenever you would see her hands and present the ring and stuff like that, you would want it to be facing the people that she's talking to show where she stands. But the logo is facing her, so she even holds it up like flat to her face like this. And it's pointing towards her as a reminder to her where she is and who like, it's like, oh, you belong to me. Like, this is more of like a tag.
I think you might be looking too deep into it.
I don't know. It's fucking Regulus. Can you blame me?
To be fair, he's assumed dead at the moment. He's definitely not dead.
It's truly like the fall of a true narcissist, and it's just glorious. It's so good. Watching him just lose everything piece by piece. So good.
But yeah. I don't know. What did you guys think of episodes 15 through 20?
What a awesome
specials?
Wild ride. I guess like we're essentially going to be caught up at this point.
Well, yeah.
When it comes to it.
Until we talk about King Oger next up should be Geats. So hopefully you join us talking about Geats.
And like we're nearing the end of Geats, so you know things are really ramping up there.
That bunch of episodes is going to hurt me.
Oof.
I know it.
I know. I hope I don't cry.
So, I guess until then.
Thank you so much for listening.
We hope you guys enjoyed it. What do you guys think of the new power-up suits? Tell us down in the comments. We both love them, so let's go. And until whatever next, bye!